It's been a while since I've done a prison story, and I've talked about this one a little bit before, but it's been a long while, and I don't know, I have a few more subscribers, and it's an extremely important thing to talk about. Not only to honor the woman, mother, friend that died, but to bring up the awareness of it. So when I was in prison, there's many girls who were there, or women who didn't really do fucking much to break the law. I mean, they broke the fucking law, but it wasn't like what I mean is victimless nonviolent crimes, you know. But anyhow, and she was one of those, and I really liked her. Her name was Krissy. She's about my height, short as fuck, adorable, kind of had one of those like higher pitched voice a little, but it wasn't annoying. It was just cute. Like I don't know. Big blue eyes, big round blue eyes, a little bit of freckles, round face, long dark hair. You would never have guessed she had a daughter my age. I was 21 when I first got there, and she's one of the people I talked to here and there. Not like a best friend per se. I mean, no one really was a best friend, but well, I did have a couple really, really, really good friends that I'm still in contact with today. But she was a good friend, and kind of like an auntie-ish type in a way. Like the relationship we had. I just remember a lot, like, besides her being just a good person, bubbly, fun to be around, she'd brighten up any room she walked in. An amazing fucking smile of sunshine. Um, she'd always tell me how I reminded her of her daughter, but she'd be like, well, where my daughter has it up here, you've got it back here. And laugh because, yeah, I had quite the ass. I mean, I don't know, I worked out a lot and did fucking a lot of squats and stuff. But anyway, back on subject, because Krissy fucking means a lot, and how she died is fucking horrific. It shouldn't have happened to anyone. I mean, okay, if it happened to like a child molester, child rapist, or something like that, honestly, I could give a shit less, really. But this woman was anything but that. She was a fucking mother. She was a good person who had made a bad decision that landed her there. Anyway, so I had my own health problems. I fucking had to pee like every 10-15 minutes. I didn't know why, I just had to pee. Always, and it hurt for like to hold it. So like I had a whole ordeal over that. It ended up being brought in front of the what's it called? Not CJ, the fucking basically the judge and jury of the prison, and I got it dropped, but that's a whole nother story. So anyhow, so during my time before I got help for that, which took 10 months, by the way, thank goodness it wasn't a fucking deadly disease like Krissy had. So anyway, I'd be up at all hours every night. I'd fall asleep eventually, fuck, but I'd only be able to sleep for like an hour. I'd wake up about every fucking hour to pee. Say hi to Ellie. Hi. She's so cute. See my little buddy. Anyway, so I'd be up a lot, all hours a night peeing. All the time anyway. And, I started seeing her up, out there at night, sick as a dog, throwing up, just retching her guts up, just looking pallor and like chilly and like clammy and shit, you know what I mean? Like the sweats and chills, and horribly fucking sick, and I'd say, Krissy, are you okay? And I'll be fine in between throwing up and stuff. And I'd be like, have you seen the doctor? Have you put in a kite? Because you have to put in a kite, which is just a piece of paper stating, I need to like see the nurse, doctor, or whatever for this reason. You put in a little box and they eventually see it, and they'll let you go see them. Like, whatever days they're there. So, anyhow. So, she ends up seeing them, but because of the way it is, I mean, everyone's like, oh, prisoners get free healthcare. Yeah, sure, it's free. You get what you fucking pay for, too. Believe me. Every fucking woman that went through there went through a form of, I wouldn't say sexual assault, but I'll explain that in a minute. Anyhow, every time we went to the doctor. But anyhow, it just kept getting worse. I'd see her every night, all night. Every time I got up to the bathroom, every hour on the hour, she was out there. And the first week, it kept getting progressively worse, and she was out there alone. And the second week, I ended up seeing her roommates out there with her, rubbing her back, trying to console her, get some kind of cool cloth for her of some sort, anything they could. Because the prison wasn't really doing shit for her. They weren't taking it serious. Like, the medical part, the only person I really cared was Vinny, the nurse. She's a beautiful, amazing woman. I loved the shit out of her. Other than that, I don't fucking gave a shit. And she could only do so much, for us. And that was within her power and capabilities. So, yeah, it kept getting progressively worse. And one night I don't see her there, or maybe it's the next morning I don't see her out there. Either way, I find out that they finally took her to Iowa City or whatever, to a real fucking hospital. And she never came back. We found out, maybe a day or two later that she was going to be staying there, that they had discharged her number, which everyone knows or knew, what that meant. If you go to the hospital and they fucking discharge your number, it's because you're dying. It's because you are literally on your fucking deathbed, going to die, that soon, that it's pointless to put you back in prison and keep you there. They just let you be with your fucking family in your last dying hours. And, everyone is affected because, like I said, she was that great of a person. She was kind of motherly in a way, like an aunt, but one of those close, sweet, really kind of caring, compassionate, type aunts, if you think about it. And so yeah, we were all affected by it, upset, we're pissed, we're sad, devastated. And so there's this whole rule, you couldn't touch each other, obviously, in prison. And a lot of dumb rules too. You couldn't even wear a fucking hairband on your wrist because it apparently meant you had a girlfriend. Because, that's going to keep women from dating in prison. Or, well, dating, ha. Anyhow, I just remember I'll never, ever, ever, ever forget her or the entire ordeal. After we found out that she was in the hospital and then she passed, I don't even think it was a month. I think it was within a week. They waited so long to take her to figure out what was wrong to get help that it was too late. The cancer had progressed so bad that she was fucked. She was a dead woman walking. And it disgusts me. She was a fucking human being. She made a mistake. She didn't deserve that. Anyhow, so we went out into the courtyard, all of us. And there's about 100 of us. I was in a smaller one. And it was winterish, January, February maybe. Because I remember it had snowed lately, but in the last few days, and all of it was shoveled or whatever, plowed to the side. So we had these huge snow wall barriers kind of around us. I don't know, it was kind of fitting. The cold, lifeless atmosphere and shit. But we all held a moment of silence for her, and we all joined hands, even though we all knew that was against the rules. And it's so stupid, I know it is. But we could have each gotten written up for that, and honestly, no one gave a fuck. We figure if they're gonna write us up for this, fuck them. They can write all this up. They can put us all in the fucking hole for it, because what happened to her was wrong, and they fucking knew it. And, you know, there are very compassionate, decent, good guards in prison, but there's also a lot of, power-hungry, compassionless guards who work in prisons, and, yeah, so, you know, we really didn't know how that would happen, but it would work out. It ended up, no one got written up, no one said a word about it. Of course, that entire person was so in the fucking wrong for that. And I'll never fucking forget it. And so it's kind of a sore spot anytime I hear people bitch about prisoners getting health care. It's shit health care. By the time I finally got taken to the hospital for my problem, because they didn't believe me. I mean, like, if it was anything else, like, that was progressive like that, I definitely would have been fucked. They didn't believe me. I saw a doctor, a nurse, time after time. They tried catheting me to figure out what's wrong. Couldn't. There's a couple times where I couldn't even pee, but it hurt so bad, and I tried, and it was just a horrible experience. Nowhere near like Krissy's. I'm not in any way comparing them. Just the simple fact of the matter that they don't fucking care. You're just a number. You're a fucking animal, and a fucking you're like cattle. Like when mealtime comes, it's like, get in your rooms, animals. We'll release you, you know, to feed when we tell you. Which I'm not saying some people don't deserve that. And I'm not saying that you deserve to be treated like fucking royalty by any means. I fucked up. I made bad decisions. I know that. I broke the law. And, I did my fucking time. I take accountability, full accountability for it. More honestly than I should have, but that's really neither here nor there right now. So, so anyway, by the time they took me, I had found out afterwards that apparently there were bets placed on whether I was lying or not. There was only 2 or 3 that placed their entire trust and belief in me and were like, nah, she's telling the truth, there's seriously something wrong. And it was one of those that told me about the bets. So, I mean, at least I made some guards money, right? The good ones. But, so yeah, I go in the little room, and the dude, the like, nurse dude asked me all the questions. He gets to the married, no, he asked me, do you have children? And I say, no. What is it? Yeah. And he's like, are you married? And then before I could answer, he's like, oh, you don't have children. And goes to mark no. And I'm like, no, actually, I am married. Like, as if, because I don't have children, I can't be married. If you're married, you must obviously have children. So, no, I'm like, fuck you, no, I'm married. And, like, it seemed like he got a little butthurt about that, to be honest. I don't know, because when he put the catheter in me, like, he rammed it in. And honestly, he kind of had to, because they had problems already with it. But, like, it's like he took a sort of satisfaction out of ramming that up my fucking urethra. Ooh. It was cool seeing my bladder in the TV and all the bumps all over it. So anyway, yeah, something actually was wrong. I was diagnosed with interstitial cystitis. So, just my point being that they don't give a fuck, they don't care, and I literally watched a good woman die right in front of my eyes because of how little they care and how shitty the free health care is in prison. Okay? That's all. I love you, Krissy. I know you're still out there somewhere in another dimension, and I just hope you're happy. Truly free.